Maingin Nidodum. My name is Denise. I am an Ojibwe woman. I am of the Wolf Clan. I was born and raised in Northern Ontario, Nipigon. I am part of the Red Rock First Nation. I come from a long line of strong matriarchs, from my grandmother, my aunties, my mother. My mother was a language teacher, a Anishinaabe language teacher, and also taught in the local school in Nipigon.
So my name's Marc Bohémier. Denise and I are the co-founders of T-Horse. I'm not Indigenous, so I like to say I'm a white guy from Winnipeg, and Denise and I are working really hard on our business. So yeah, and as far as a work background, I might not look it, but I was an RCMP officer for almost 26 years. And for almost half my career, I did something very unique. I did non-enforcement community-based training and prevention programs on First Nations all across Northern Ontario and even into Manitoba. So I come to learning about Indigenous people not only from an academic perspective, but from a work perspective and from a very strong spiritual perspective as well, learning a lot from different people, young and old, on First Nations and from Indigenous people really all over North America because of some of the work I got a chance to do.
We were inspired to start T-Horse. Marc and I are both, lifelong tea lovers. We went to the Toronto Tea Festival about 7 years ago and thought we knew tea until we experienced this amazing festival. And it was a 2-day program, and we thought we would be there for an hour or two to check it out, and we just were mesmerized by all the different types of teas, all the information, all the tea people, the ceremony. There was just so much happening, and so much that we were passionate about already, but it just furthered our love of tea and the whole concept of a hot beverage, an infused, whether it's flowers or roots or berries. I was raised, like I said, on a traditional land-based home, Anishinaabe home, and when we were on the land, we were blueberry picking, there was always a pot of tea, a pot of something hot being infused. My grandmother would infuse Labrador tea or blueberry leaves. So we always had tea. So for us, tea was just part of us. So we thought, let's bring this amazing premium product to Thunder Bay. We thought we're going to open a tea shop. Everyone's going to come. It's going to be amazing. We had this big center table that, everyone's going to sit around like a kitchen table, like it was when I was a kid. People came, but we soon realized how difficult it was to run a brick and mortar establishment in a small city like Thunder Bay. So about after a year, we decided that we would pivot to an e-commerce platform rather than the brick and mortar. So thankfully, we had started that journey on an e-commerce platform, and then COVID hit. So we were already well on our, established, well on our way, developing our business online. So we just continued on as COVID hit.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, if I kind of rewind a bit to the Toronto Tea Festival, our initial visit there was, we soon found out that Indigenous people around the world have been the caretakers of tea forests in Yunnan, China, Indigenous people from Taiwan, Japanese people, Indigenous people from all different parts of Asia, Korean people that were the stewards of the land. And there was a real common thread, a commonality between how they took care of these tea plants, the tea forests, and even Nepal as well. And so we started finding out about that. And then because of Denise's Indigenous heritage, we felt this common thread and a common bond. And So our logo design and everything we've done with our business from the very beginning was this idea of creating like a fusion of cultures, a fusion of flavors. And when we did start, or like when we got out of the brick and mortar shop, we had more time to think about something unique. And that's where we came out with our wild rice teas, which was based on Japanese genmai cha. And then we soon found out that Korea, China, all across China and Taiwan, they roast or use grains as a tea beverage. So it's not tea technically in the word tea, but it's grain-based beverages. And so that's how we came up with sort of our inspiration to create our roasted wild rice tea.
2
years.
Oh, yeah, 2 years ago, we received an email from David's Tea and, you know, asking us if we'd be interested in working on a collaborative blend. So we started meeting with them and, you know, worked with them for about a year back and forth from the initial flavor profiles. Started with like say 7 to 10 profiles. We would do a tasting, they would do a tasting. We're in Thunder Bay, they're in Montreal. So, and it was during COVID, so we would have these Zoom meetings after our tastings to compare notes and, you know, decide on the direction. It was a true collaboration right from the beginning. They've been very transparent. Everything was discussed, you know, right from the flavor profile to the marketing, everything, to the packaging, to the give back portion of the blend, that a percentage of sales would go towards a charity that would benefit Indigenous people. So we decided, David's Tea and Tea Horse decided that we would give back to the David Suzuki Institute and for Indigenous reconciliation programming. It was launched in
about a year
ago. About a year ago.
Little less than
and
a year.
On the David's Tea website, and it was a fantastic hit with everybody who tried it. It's an amazing blend.
And what Denise didn't mention also, the reason David's Tea came to us or approached us was because their first question was, well, we've never heard of wild rice tea.
Yeah.
And we went, well, that's because we're the only people that ever made it. So it was their interest in the wild rice and what did we do with wild rice? And so we told them basically what we told you already. It was this inspiration from the Japanese genmai cha. But so from there, it was their interest in what we were doing. And also the focus for David's Tea as well was they called it a give back program. It's looking at, working with a small business. They had never worked with an outside business before. So it was a new thing for them. It was definitely new for us. And even the naming of the tea, it's called Monoman Maple. And so we incorporated the word Monoman in the blend we did with David's Tea, and it became they were telling us it became the #1 seller on their e-commerce platform for about 2 or 3 weeks when it was released.
And the David's Tea blend, the foundational ingredient we decided was going to be the roasted Monoman, because we wanted to showcase that ingredient in the blend.
Yeah, and I think another big thing we've learned is surround yourself with people who like you and who you like. If you connect well, then stay connected with those people. Because when, it's like passion can get you into a business, passion can keep you going. But if you surround yourself with people that you can trust, whether they be suppliers, good friends that'll give you straight advice, other business people that'll give you the straight goods on what's happening, and they'll be honest with you. Like when we got into the tea business, we were told by one of our key suppliers, this is a tough business. So don't think you're just going to have some windfall, and even with the very unique tea product, there's no windfall just yet. We're hoping it's going to go that way. So I think surrounding yourself with people that you trust, and you hear about that a lot, but you can make quick connections with people and know right away that person is honest. Our wild rice supplier, honest. We never knew him from anybody. Another wild rice vendor said, talk to this guy. He's the most honest guy you'll ever meet. Holy moly, that guy bends over backwards for us. And he's an amazing person. Our tea suppliers, honest, and they give us advice on, I wouldn't do this. I would think about doing that. This doesn't work. Market it this way. Don't do this. So, just great people. And then you have to reciprocate that honesty. You have to, be able to say, this isn't working. And like I said it earlier, don't overblow your success, and certainly don't underreport your challenges, because it's by telling people about your challenges that they may help you navigate through the next one, or navigate you through that one.
One of the key successes was being recognized by an international tea company that we're doing something innovative and creative, and they approached us, as well as we shared in a North American tea award with them on sustainability for the blend that we partnered with. So that's been a huge success for us. Also being chosen to go on trade missions with the Trade Commissioner of Canada to the US to showcase our company and our products for Indigenous business entrepreneurs. We went to Arizona, met with Indigenous run casinos and resorts, trying to build relationships with other nations for trading. And then I also went to Florida with women entrepreneurs. Our company was chosen to attend. So that was really exciting. Some of the challenges being,
should I talk about them?
well,
There's a lot of challenges.
there's a lot on our plate, and it's very difficult sometimes to turn it off, when it's just the two of us and we're trying to be everything as entrepreneurs, and it's exhausting sometimes. It's exciting, but it's also, it's tough. So I think it's important to have a plan from a business canvas model, even a one-pager, right down to a business plan. I mean, it's really important to have it written on paper, to revisit it. It's a living document. It changes when your goals change, your focus changes, your business model changes. It's really important to have it written down and have an idea of what, not have an idea, but you need to know what your expenses are going to be, who your target market is, what your goals are, short-term, long-term, specific goals, tangible goals. So it's just really important to have a really good business plan, as well as mentors. If you can get mentors, it's so beneficial. Mm-hmm. We have mentors, from all parts of the economy, from people who work for the government to people who are bankers to people, who are business people, Indigenous business people, non-Indigenous people, as many people as you can get that. And people are so willing to help you, to give you advice. Mm-hmm. And now people are approaching us to be their mentor. And, why reinvent the wheel when somebody's already done it and can share that information with you? Okay, you could meet people at conferences, at retreats, on the street. If you have their contact, it's up to you to follow up with them. Don't expect people to come to you. You have to follow up, and that's so important. If you follow up once, twice, 3 times, keep doing it. Like it's so important.